Hello, welcome to Kingdom Cooking. I'm your cook and host, Romel Moore. Remember, Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of God. The purpose of this program is to give you a great recipe for your family, along with an encouraging word from God. Today, we're going to be making a vegetable sushi with miso soup. And the word of the Lord, we're going to be coming out of James chapter 4, verse 6, that reads, but he gives more grace. Therefore, it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So we're going to talk about pride and how important it is, how God graces us through humility to receive more of his grace. But first thing we want to do with this is we're going to deal with the rice. So I've already cooked my rice, and when you prepare your sushi rice, you want to have the rice warm. So I have the top on here, it's still warm, and we're going to make the quick rice mixture to put in here to make sushi. Okay, so we need 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Have the rice vinegar here. There we go. 2 tablespoons of sugar. There's 1. There's 2. 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. Let's go add that in there. Yeah. We're going to mix that. I have the warm rice here. There we go. We're going to add this mixture to the rice. Take our time and mix that gently. Make sure we cover all of the rice. The rice is still warm. You don't want to do it while it's cold. And this is like 1.5 cups of rice for this mixture. All right. Now, we got that done. We want to cover this with a wet towel. Okay. Put it down in there like so until we're ready to use the rice. Okay. All right, next we're going to make the dipping sauce. So you see I already have the place setting for the finished product once we're done. So I'm going to grab the dipping sauce bowl that I'm going to use. And for the dipping sauce, we're going to begin with 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce. My dark soy sauce here. There we go. And 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And with this, you can use light soy sauce. I'm using regular. 1, 2, and that's 3. 4 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 4 tablespoons of rice vinegar. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. All right. And finally, 3 tablespoons of sesame oil. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 teaspoons. There we go. Now let's give this a nice little mix. And this will be our sushi dipping sauce. And we want to mix this until brown sugar is dissolved pretty good. All right, we're good to go there. I'm just going to add this back to our placing. All right, now next we're going to prepare our guacamole, and I'm using carrot. Now with the carrot, we just want to make some nice long strips. So I'm going to cut this in half, like so. Here we go. What I'm going to do with the carrot, once I have them cut in the strips I desire, I'm going to saute these in sesame oil. Give it a nice flavor. Now you can make these as thick as you desire or as thin. Okay. So I'm going to set those to the side. We're going to saute those in sesame oil. And of course, with your avocado. And this one is pretty ripe, so it'll open right up. Now to take, seed out, just put your knife deep in it and turn it. Comes right out. Now, for the avocado, because it's so tender, get a plate here. All we want to do, you can use, I'm using a butter knife instead of my cleaver. Just go into it on an angle, pull it out. That's what we're going to use when we layer for the sushi. Just go in on an angle, and pull it right out. There we go. Turn this one. When you get it ripe enough, the butter knife will even go through the skin of the avocado, okay? So all I'm doing is go in on an angle, scoop it out. See that? We got a nice little wedge. These coming out a little better. All right, good to go. So we're going to use this when we get ready to make the sushi. Now I'm getting ready to go saute these, give it a nice caramelization and a nice nutty taste to it. And then while we're over there, we're going to take care of our miso soup. Now for the miso soup, I just have about 4 cups of water in here. And I'm using a miso paste. Okay. And we're just taking a spoonful. And you can just drop it right in there. But I like to rub it on the sides of your already simmering water. Bring it to a nice boil first. And just rub it on the side. Let it dissolve slowly. At least get most of it in there. You see how the complexion of the water have already changed. Okay, so get most of it in there first. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Just make sure the water is on a nice little simmer. Now, miso paste is fermented, so there's a lot packed in here. You really don't need to add much more for your basic miso soup. All right. I can no longer touch the sides with it, so I'm gonna dump it in there. All right. And next, I want about a tablespoon of soy sauce in here. Not a lot. And I'm going to add I have some seaweed squares. I'm going to add a few in here. I'm going to leave this on a nice little simmer. There we go. Now, we're talking about pride. Pride comes in. Pride is like snakes and reptiles. It comes in all different shapes and colors. You can have a proud look. You can speak arrogantly. You can be boastful in your actions and your attitudes toward people. So pride cannot be defined in one description. But one thing's for sure, all the different looks and colors that pride comes in, the end result is you lifting up yourself, which provokes God to bring you low. So we want to deal with the different areas because we all have some level of pride. Even if you have low self-esteem, there's areas in your life where you still need to humble yourself. There's still areas in your life where the sin of pride is lurking. But I like what it says in James chapter 4, that God gives grace to the humble. You can never lose being humble. You can never lose choosing to take the back seat, even if you're qualified and deserve the front seat. I like what Jesus said. He said, when you go to a banquet or some important meeting, he said, sit in the back. He said, let the people call you forward. I like that. In other words, be humble and let me grace you to come forward. Don't demand it because you have a degree. Don't demand it because you have a title. Don't demand it because the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So that's what I love about it. All right. Now I'm just going to let this simmer. I'm going to actually switch this. I'm going to take this and put that over there so we can saute our carrots. Okay. I'm just going to add a little sesame oil here. Don't need a lot. There we go. Add our carrots in there. these to mix well with the sesame oil. There we go. That's all we're doing. We're just thoroughly covering it in the sesame oil, letting it cook a little bit. All right, they covered pretty well now. Let me spread them out. So just give it a couple minutes. That'll be exactly what we need. Okay. You know, what I like about humility is you can never go wrong, even if it's not necessary. There's many times where others have done us wrong. We are 100% in the right, but the Spirit of God will push you and nudge you to still be the bigger person, to still be the one to ask for forgiveness, to be the humble one, because you cannot lose being humble, but you will lose 100% of the time being arrogant. And the most dangerous part of arrogance is when we think we're right. Okay? I say all the time, when God shows up and he starts smacking folk down, the only safe place to be is on your face. So if you're already humble and on your face, even when judgment comes, even when discipline comes, even when it's time to be pruned, you already in your position. Okay? All right. That's all we need with that. So let's get ready to make our sushi. All right, I have a new sushi maker here. So I'm gonna be trying this out for the first time. Bear with me. So we want to have a nice long rectangle of seaweed. All right. Now we want the rough part of the seaweed we're going to put in facing up. Okay. Put it this way. It won't break. There we go. And so the outside, the shiny part would be the part that you see externally. All right. So I'm going to take my wet towel off of the rice, and we want to put one layer of the rice on the bottom. Make sure we pack it in there pretty good. So I'm trying to make it as even as possible. A little more right here. There we go. Now I'm gonna put my wedge of guacamole and some of my carrot strips there. All right, guess you want to see. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. We want to put another layer of rice on top. pretty good. More there. There we go. Just bear with me. And we got that in there. Now I have a little thing of water here. I want to tip my fingers in there. Okay. And I'm going to wet it so that when we fold it, it sticks. So fold that down. Now put that on top so that it sticks together. Now, taking this part, going on top, and I'm pressing it down. Okay. Use this to press it down. Now, this particular system is by Miso, right here. Let me see here. Miso. So it's a sushi making kit by Meidong. Okay, so that's what I'm using. Makes it a lot easier. You can do it the traditional way if you desire. All right, so once I do that, if I'm going by the rules, take that off. Let me get this here. And next we want to cut it. All right, so we already have the grooves here on the side. So I'm going straight down. That ain't looking good. Oh well. Straight down. Go. Okay. Last one's coming out better. Probably was pressing too hard. Should have been a little more gentle as I cut it through the seaweed. Okay. Yeah, got a look better. All right, so at this point, we're using this particular part. Move it this way. Okay. Do that, and I'm going to, maybe I should flip it. I'm going to flip it this way. Okay, so when I come up, voila. Got your sushi rolls. All right, look at that. Okay, I'm going to plate these and get the miso soup prepared, and we'll finish this up. Here we go. We have our sushi, our miso soup, and our homemade dipping sauce. Don't forget, Jesus said, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of